Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. This is the final word. Luxembourg 0, Republic of Ireland 0. I'm joined in studio by none other than Stephen Byrne. Welcome back, Steve.
Good to be here, my friend.
Let's talk. We know, obviously, the lineup was a slight bit different. Not far off what I had predicted in my starting 11 show, but, Max O'Leary coming in for Queevy and Kelleher, Jake O'Brien at right back, Darragh O'Shea, Nathan Collins centre half, Robbie Brady left back, midfield, Jason Knight, Will Smallbone and Killian Phillips coming in for his first start. And then we had Troy Parrott and Evan Ferguson in there as well. What were your thoughts initially when you saw that lineup?
I was a little bit shocked with the two strikers, to be honest. But I mean, we'll get into it on how that worked out in the end. But I was a little bit shocked by that. I was also shocked that Finn didn't get a start, John Patrick Finn. I was kind of excited to see if he'd play. Max O'Leary and Killian Phillips. Killian Phillips getting his first start, like you said. Max O'Leary making his Irish debut. I thought both of them deserved it. I thought both of them played well. Actually thought Phillips was unlucky to come off so early. But yeah, I mean, flowers to you because you were 2 off getting the whole 11.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that he was going to go with like Jake O'Brien at right back because I think it makes sense. Just try him out there, just see what he'd be like with Ireland. Obviously, he's been very good at Everton. And throughout the game, he was good. So I suppose it's another good option to have. If anything happens to Matt Doherty, we have the option of Jake there, and it just allows our left back then to get further forward if that is the case. I mean, when we look at the first half, there's not a whole lot to kind of discuss. It was just a very lackluster sort of display. Sinani had an effort saved by Max O'Leary, and that's the only kind of effort I can remember them having. And then Nathan Collins hitting the woodwork towards the end of the half, just before half time, which if he had maybe scored there, it maybe makes the half look better than probably what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, your halftime thoughts, what were you thinking? Because I just thought we struggled to get into the game. I thought Luxembourg done well in terms of smothering us and they didn't allow us to play, and I thought their press was really good.
Honestly, the exact same thoughts. I thought Luxembourg were pressing us so well and we just couldn't string passes together. I thought we looked lethargic, real tired, whether that's because of, the quick international break after the season's just ending. I just thought we looked so tired. We just couldn't seem to string passes together and keep the ball. And that high press was just killing us in the first half.
Yeah, it looked like the balance was off or something like that, because when the players were trying to pass balls to each other, they were making the run that they thought was the right one, but it was the wrong run, and the other player was saying, why did you run there? And it was just seemed to be that sort
on
of
different
game.
wavelengths.
Yeah, like completely, like especially up front when they were trying to do things. Like I saw Troy Parrott getting frustrated at Casey McAteer, and I even saw Jake O'Brien getting frustrated at Casey McAteer at one stage when he was defending. I saw him shouting at him when the ball went out for a goal kick. I think he was trying to say to him, you need to get back as well to help out. But yeah, half time it was 0-0. What were you thinking going into the second half in terms of how we could improve?
Well, I mean, in the first half, I didn't think that it made sense to play two strikers. I just think we play a lot better when we play that, kind of 4-4-1-1 with the number 10, whether it's Schmodix or Finazaz. Obviously, they're not in the squad, but I would have liked to have seen him take off maybe Ferguson a little bit earlier.
I thought he looked very unfit. I know he hasn't been playing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So maybe he shouldn't have taken him off early because of that. Obviously, he does need minutes, but I just thought Troy was doing way more work up there. I know Troy didn't have his best game, but for effort, I mean, he was absolutely trying his socks off. So I just didn't like the whole two up top thing. That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what did you think looking at that first half? I mean, looking at the 90 minutes in general.
Yeah, I just thought like he was playing as a 10, Evan Ferguson, for some reason.
Yeah,
he wasn't even playing as a. So like it didn't really make much sense. I would have thought like Troy would have been better as the 10 because he's played there before, but obviously this season he's been playing as the 9 for Alkmaar. But I just thought, why not just have them up together, making a nuisance of the Luxembourg defence, because when they were going for balls, whatever, you could see. Also, I noticed that there was a lot of nastiness in this game. There's a lot of kicks off the ball. There was yellow cards,
especially with Troy involved.
Yeah, but it was yellow cards and all. It was a friendly. Like you wouldn't think too often that like there's going to be yellow cards in a friendly game. Like they were kicking each other off the ball, and then when teams were looking to get on the counter attack, the players were getting taken out for yellow cards. Taking one for the team. Like I get it, there's no issue with that, but then there was like little spats after it as well. I remember Troy getting in a row with the centre back because he was pulling out of him. and then Sinani done something to, I think, Casey McAteer, and then fouled Casey McAteer, and then started on him after that. So I just thought there was a bit of spice to this fixture.
Luxembourg were definitely up for this game. I mean, we even talked about the high press. They were running all game, and they were so aggressive. Troy got creamed about 5 times.
Yeah. But just kind of going into the second half, I'm just kind of looking here, like Casey McAteer straight after McAteer. I keep calling him McIntyre. Casey McAteer driving run straight after half time. So he went on that run and nearly scored just straight after half time. And then Jans went up the other end, and he had an effort blocked by Jason Knight, who is everywhere. Tom gave him a 5 out of 10 rating in the player ratings though, but someone wasn't impressed with that on YouTube.
I seen that.
And then and then Ryan Manning with a great ball into the box in the 52nd minute, and the ball was headed back across, and it looked like Troy Parrott handled it, and it was kind of, the ref blew, and he still tried to backheel it, but nothing came of it. And then you're kind of looking at it down. Taylor came on for Will Smallbone, and Festy went on for Killian Phillips, and then Troy Parrott got that goal that was offside, and it was a lovely finish, but it was just,
the pass was too late from McAteer.
Yeah,
a little bit too late.
But isn't it nice to see an Irish player finishing like that? That was like, you don't see that too often.
Yeah.
Those types of goals. So it's great to see that, despite the fact that he was offside, he's still finishing those chances. So if an opportunity does come like that, we know that more often than not he'll put them away.
Yeah, exactly. A little dink over the keeper. Very clinical. And like you said, I mean, whether he was offside or onside, he still finished it.
Yeah.
So
it gives me confidence then to see us kind of going forward with him up front. Another ball over the top, a great ball over the top to McAteer then, and the ball kind of bounces and he snatches at it and volleys it wide. I thought he could have probably taken it across the defender and into the box, maybe drawn a foul outside the box or even a penalty, but he just kind of snatched at it. And then towards the end of the game, there was a great bit of play by Troy Parrott. He gets the ball to Adam Eder, but he seems to like stumble. And then they clear it out to Jack Taylor, and he absolutely rattles. I think the crossbar is still rattling. It was, what an effort. I think they said in commentary the keeper can't hand to it. He definitely didn't on the replay. It was just a great strike, and it was just unlucky that it wasn't like an inch lower, and it was probably a goal and a rocket, and it would have been a nice way to win the game.
Oh, big time. He hit it very sweetly. But, I mean, they were kind of 2 big chances of the game, weren't they? The Collins one, the first half, hitting the bar. Lovely passing by Darrell O'Shea for that one. And then obviously the Taylor one. But besides that, and besides Troy's offside goal, we didn't really create that much. But I felt like when we were creating things, it actually was coming from McAteer. I thought he wasn't as good as he was in the Senegal game, but I just think he's so direct, and his pace, he's so pacey. And I just feel like that's maybe something we've lacked since Fessy's kind of being injured and out of the squad the last couple of games. McAteer kind of brings that directness and pace out on the wing. So he really impressed me over these 2 international games.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him as well. I think he's shown that he can be a reliable member of the squad now.
Yeah.
And if he needs to be started, he can start to make an effect. Matt Doherty made an important recovery slide tackle towards the end as well that helped us win the game, because they were on the counter attack, and he burst his bollocks basically to get back. And a lot of people have been critical of his performances over the past few seasons, with Ireland especially, saying that he doesn't look half bothered. So I thought he done well there, and that basically was the last kick of the game after that. And then John Patrick Finn, just before that came on for his debut, he got about 5 minutes, if even, not enough to kind of see what he could do. But do you think, I think what Heimir's plan was with Honohan and Finn and maybe Josh Keeley was get to the last 15 minutes of the game for winning 2-0 or something like that, get them on. But I think the reason why he didn't choose them is because, imagine Honohan comes on for Robbie Brady, because I know Manning came on for him. But imagine he comes on and he makes an error and we lose the game.
Yeah.
That could be he could be a one-cap wonder then. Yeah. And he could never recover. So that's why I think when people get why bother calling him up, I think that was what he had in mind. And just the game was so close at that stage that he had to bring on seasoned international players, maybe not Finn and that. But the other players that he brought on, like Jack Taylor, he's got a good number of caps under his belt now. And then you had Festy coming on, who's had a good number of caps as well. So Ida too. So he was bringing on those sort of players who he knows and he's seen already and he seems to trust. So do you think that's how he saw the game? He would have probably given Keeley and these, if we were winning 2-0 with maybe 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of what I was thinking, because I mean, as a Rovers fan and just as an Ireland fan, obviously disappointed not to see Honohan get on. Obviously disappointed not to see John Patrick Finn get on earlier. I wanted to see Josh Keeley get some minutes, but I think with such a close game, goalless draw, I mean, the game can go either way at that point. If a new player, like you said, comes on and we go 1-0 down, even if it's not their mistake, they can be just used as a scapegoat as well, you know? So I definitely think it was the right decision in the end. What do you think yourself?
Yeah, I think it was important not to lose the game because you want to keep that's 4 unbeaten now.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that morale and you want to keep that, say, unbeaten streak going. You could look at the opposition and say, oh, we should be beating them anyway. But like at the end of the day, we got a good result against Senegal, despite what people want to say. And we had a good performance in that game. Not so much of a good performance last night, but look, these players have all been on long seasons and they've had a lot to do throughout the games. Like Nathan Collins played every minute for Brentford this season. So was Jason Knight for Bristol.
Yeah.
So, like, these lads have played long seasons. So,
and that showed in the game.
Yeah, but these June friendlies for me are just stupid time to play them because either have them just before pre-season so the players have maybe a match under their belt as they go into pre-season and give them a longer break at the early start of June, or else just move them to a different state. I understand they're important for, you know, the Ireland camp, say, to get the players together, but they just look like they just want to be on holidays, and that's not faulting their performance or anything like that, but they've had a long hard season. They just want to go on break. It's like being on summer break in school and you're just dying to, you know, a couple of people have finished their leaving cert ahead of you and they're on a couple of days before you and you're just dying to get that last day. That's what it felt like to me. And these are just like dying to get off and just have a break and have a rest because it's been a long hard season. Some of them are going to go away. They're going to come back and have a transfer and there's going to be a lot. So they need that little bit of rest as well. So the timing of these friendlies I just think are a little bit silly unless there's actually something meaningful behind them. But like I can't think of anything meaningful for these games to be played. And it's great for us. We get content out of it and stuff like that. But from a player's point of view, I'm more so mean.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And as I keep saying, it showed in the performance. I mean, lads looked tired and lads looked like they were just, you know, ready for a break. And that's understandable. Like you said, Collins and Knight, for example. But there's even more players. I mean, that have had long seasons, you know. Yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. And obviously it's you know, with the seasons just ending, it is kind of great to have international games to watch just after, but when you think of it as, you know, kind of the full picture, the players need a break, and you don't want them to be kind of dragging this lethargicness and tiredness going into the new season ahead, which starts in 8 weeks, you know. So
the pre-season will probably start in a month. So look, like, you know, I think players like Evan Ferguson and all would benefit with a little break now, come back fresh pre-season, hopefully hit the ground running, get a move, and you know, maybe get some goals. Troy would be interested to see where he ends up. There's a lot of players in that squad that could end up moving.
Yeah.
Nathan Collins is linked with Spurs. If Thomas Frank goes there, Christian Romero has to go. If he goes, Nathan Collins is likely going to be brought into Spurs and he could go for as much as 40 million. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Thomas Frank has actually agreed to join Spurs, so that's happening. And I'm pretty sure Christian Romero is actually leaving. He's heavily linked with Atletico Madrid, so I think that's a great match. I really like it. Champions League football as well. So I love it.
Yeah, when you look, you're talking like when we come to the games in September, we're kind of facing Hungary first, then we're away to Armenia, and you have someone like Nathan Collins playing Champions League football. How much that would elevate him and his standards and the squad. I think that's huge. Just on those two games, you know, do you think we could get 6 points if you're talking now and we had everyone fit? Do you think we get 6 points on the board for the first two games? Or what way do you see the first two games going? Hungary in Dublin and then Armenia in Yerevan.
I mean, looking at that, like, I don't look at the Luxembourg game and kind of judge us off that. I know these are only friendlies, but that Senegal game put a lot of confidence in me. Like, a lot. Like, I was coming from the Bulgaria games and the Finland games, obviously, like, feeling good about how we're playing and kind of where we're going as a nation. But I mean, that Senegal game, I thought you played really, really well against a really, like, 19 ranked in
something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
we beat England last night.
Yeah, exactly. 3-1. I mean, I know maths doesn't work in sports, but
a lot of their better players played last night, though, not against us, but
yeah. But even still, look, I thought we played great against Senegal last night. Is whatever what it was, but I think we can get 6 points. I mean, Hungary are definitely. I mean, they're a tough nation to beat. Soboslai, they've so many experienced
Well, we bet them
players.
before in Dublin. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah,
Is we bet them Troy Parr scored the winner, and Soboslai was getting a bit of afters from Seamus Coleman. That was nice to see. So there's maybe a little bit of history there, but I didn't think they were great or they stood out in those games. So for me, I would definitely see that as a game that we should really be targeting to get a win.
Yeah.
None of this draws. I think we need to start getting wins on the board.
especially Hungary. We do need to be beating them. I mean, even when we go to Hungary, we need to be leaving there with at least a point. But first 2 games, 6 points. Why not?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, we need to. If we get the win against Hungary, we need to back it up then against Armenia. I just want to ask you, lastly, just Heimir's had 10 games in charge. His first clean sheet last night, but with 2 losses to Greece, 2 losses to England, and then wins against Finland twice, Bulgaria twice, and now 2 draws. How would you sum up his reign so far before we head into the September World Cup qualifiers?
Honestly, he's filled me with confidence as a fan. He's filled me with real confidence. You can kind of see where he's going with things. He has a certain style of play. He has diversity in how many formations he can play. He's not just showing up with one formation and sticking to that as like kind of a one-trick pony. Like, it's kind of a guessing game what formation he's going to play going into games. So, I mean, he has me excited, and his confidence that he puts out himself. I mean, he's telling everyone not to book holidays next summer because we're going to America. So, I'd give, if I was going to give it a score, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 so far. I've been really, really impressed. And look, that might be recency bias, but I think we're going the right direction with this.
Yeah, I'd probably give him a 7 myself. I'm not. The expectations aren't huge, considering where we've came from. Under Stephen Kenny, like, things were very low after his reign. He's come in and he's instilled a bit of confidence. The players look a lot happier. In fairness, what he's benefited from is a lot of players now are getting game time at their clubs, and a lot of them are playing now. The ones that were blooded through Stephen Kenny, and a lot of them are a lot more experienced in international games. So I think whoever was going to come in after him was always going to reap the rewards in that regard. And I think that he's the one that's really reaping the rewards now. Players like Jake O'Brien getting moved to Everton is doing quite well. Nathan Collins, Darragh O'Shea, all of these players, even Troy moving to AZ Alkmaar, and the difference in his confidence, Ida going to Celtic. So they've all kind of gone to big boy clubs now, I would say. And there's an expectation on them to win. So I think that's helped. It's the fact that they all have a standard to hold themselves to, that like if things aren't going well in the game, they need to know, that they have a pressure of being used to winning, say at Celtic or, bigger clubs. Nathan Collins, if he goes to Spurs, he'll have that kind of expectation on his shoulders that they're expected to go in and try to win every game.
That's actually a really, really good point, yeah.
So when you think about that, when they bring that into the international fold, they all have an expectation of each other and the standards will go up again. And I think he's benefited from that in a sense. And he's also brought a lot of confidence. I think he's brought the fans and the players together as a group. I think that's really important as well, because there was a little bit of a what would you call it, like a breakaway, that like they didn't see it, like the fans and the players were as one, like, because when they are as one, we've seen how good it can be over the years. So yeah, I'd sum it up as a 7, but that's maybe just me being a little bit pessimistic. I really want us to do well in September, but I've heard it before where managers bigging us up and then it's just kind of falling flat on its face. So I just hope that his words are backed up in November and we're qualifying for the World Cup, and then I'll give him a 10 out of 10 and tell him I love him, I'll give him a kiss in the cheek if he wants. But I'll be delighted if we got to the World Cup. Wow, it'd just be amazing.
Man, I don't know, I just got butterflies thinking about that.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, well, go on.
I think we've a great chance. I really do. Call me recency biased. I think we've a great chance.
I think we've a better chance than we've ever had in a while. But I think we're gonna we haven't even spoken about Portugal. Obviously, they won the Nations League. They're obviously going to be a huge task. Ronaldo coming to Dublin, Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Diaz, Nuno Mendes, best left back in the world. Yeah, Fatinha, unreal. So all their players are performing well. They've got Gonzalo Ramos. They've got their probably worst player would probably be our best player. Let's be honest. These days. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there anyway in terms of the final word. Overall, how would you sum up the window just before we go?
I'm happy because, like I said, I'm not looking into the Luxembourg game too much. That Senegal game, I was happy with. So, yeah, happy.
Yeah, 2 more games unbeaten. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, all right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments on anything that we've spoken about, and we'll be sure to get back to you. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and God bless.